You've probably already been doing this for hours anyway, but picture this. You're happily browsing the internet, searching through your TikTok feed, your social media brain rot, when suddenly, a pop-up appears, warning of a malicious attack attempting to infiltrate your system. Cue the dramatic music and the slow-motion dive for the close button. Close it! Quick! Close it! Close it! Oh, but what's this? Your trusty firewall has stepped in, blocking the attack and saving the day. Yeah, that's right, folks. Firewalls are the unsung heroes of our digital lives, the silent guardians standing watch over our precious, precious data. So in this video, I'm going to learn you a few things about the world of firewalls, explore their inner workings, their various forms, and the critical role they play in keeping our networks safe from the clutches of cyber criminals. So grab your virtual hard hats, your antivirus, and your VPN, and get ready to dive deep into the fascinating realm of firewalls. By the end of this adventure, you'll have a whole new appreciation for these digital defenders and the incredible feats they perform every single day. But before we start, we'd really appreciate if you'd subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss the next video where I learn you something. It also lets us know that you like what we put out so we can keep giving you the good stuff. Alright, let's get started. To truly understand the concept of firewalls, let's step away from the digital world for a minute and consider a more familiar setting, a housing society. Ignoring the usual drama associated with an HOA, imagine a gated community with multiple buildings, each home to numerous residents going about their daily lives. Over at the entrance of this society, a vigilant guard stands watch, monitoring every person who enters and exits the premises. This guard serves as the first line of defense, much like a firewall in a network. He operates with a set of guidelines, similar to firewall rules, that dictate who is allowed to enter the society under what circumstances. Visitors are scrutinized, their identities verified, and their intentions questioned. Only those who meet the predefined criteria are granted access, while those deemed suspicious or unauthorized are turned away. But what happens when a troublemaker attempts to force their way in? Just like a hacker might try to penetrate a network through their back door, that didn't come out quite right, this ne'er-do-well may try to bypass the security guard using various tactics, disguises, fake IDs, or even brute force. But like a properly configured firewall, a well-trained alert guard will detect and thwart these attempts, ensuring the safety and security of the residents within. In the digital realm, firewalls serve the same purpose as our steadfast security guard. They stand at the entry point of a network, monitoring incoming and outgoing traffic, and applying a set of predefined rules to determine what data is allowed to pass through and what gets blocked. By doing so, they protect the devices and data within the network from unauthorized access and potential threats. You can think of a firewall as a personal digital security guard, tirelessly working to keep your online world secure and safe, letting you browse the internet with peace of mind, knowing that your firewall is there to protect you. But how do firewalls accomplish this task in a manner similar to a guard? At its core, a firewall is a network security system designed to monitor and control incoming and outgoing traffic based on predetermined rules. Its primary purpose is to create a barrier between a trusted internal network and an untrusted external network, such as the internet. Firewalls come in two main categories, hardware and software. Hardware firewalls are physical devices that are either standalone appliances or integrated into network routers. These offer a robust first line of defense for an entire network, much like a fortified gate protecting a castle. Vice versa, software firewalls are programs installed on individual devices, such as a computer or a server. They provide additional layers of security at the device level, acting as a personal bodyguard for each machine. To better understand the importance of using both types of firewalls, let's revisit our housing society analogy. The hardware firewall acts as the main security gate, scrutinizing all traffic entering and leaving the complex. However, even if an unauthorized individual manages to slip past the gate, the software firewalls installed on each residence, like the locks on individual doors, provide an extra level of protection. In the digital world, using both hardware and software firewalls creates a layered security approach, also known as defense in depth. By implementing multiple layers of protection, you minimize the risk of a single point of failure and make it much harder for those cybercriminals to penetrate your network. Bear in mind, however, that firewalls are not one-size-fits-all solutions. The effectiveness of a firewall depends on how well it is configured and maintained. Network administrators must carefully define security rules based on their organization's specific needs, striking a balance between protection and accessibility. Firewall rules can be based on various criteria such as IP address, port numbers, protocols, and applications. For example, a firewall can be set to block all incoming traffic from a specific IP range known to be associated with malicious activity, or to only allow certain types of traffic like web browsing, port 80, and email, port 25. In summary, firewalls are essential tools in the fight against cyber threats. By using a combination of hardware and software firewalls and properly configuring them based on specific security requirements, organizations can create a strong-minded, multi-layered defense against unauthorized access and potential attacks. To truly appreciate the inner workings of a firewall, we must first understand its position within a network architecture. Firewalls are typically placed at the boundary between a trusted internal network and an untrusted external network, like the internet. As traffic flows from the internet towards the internal network, it must pass through the firewall, which inspects each packet and decides whether to allow or block it based on predefined rules. One common architectural concept in firewall design is the demilitarized zone, or DMZ. Having nothing to do with the zone that separates North and South Korea, the DMZ is a separate network segment that sits between the internet and the internal network, acting as a buffer zone. This is where servers that require external access, such as web servers and email servers, are typically placed. By isolating these servers in the DMZ, the firewall can enforce strict rules on the traffic allowed to reach them from the internet while still permitting necessary communication with the internal network. This helps protect the internal network from potential threats that may target externally accessible servers. Firewall rules are critical in determining what traffic is allowed through the firewall and what is blocked. These rules are usually organized in a specific order, with the most restrictive rules at the top and the least restrictive at the bottom. When traffic reaches the firewall, the rules are evaluated top to bottom. The first rule that matches the traffic characteristics, such as source IP, destination IP, and port number, is applied, and the firewall takes the specified action, either blocking or allowing the traffic. Inbound traffic, originating from the internet and heading toward the internal network, is typically subject to the most scrutiny. Firewall rules for inbound traffic are generally more restrictive and have a lower priority, as this traffic is considered untrusted and potentially malicious. On the other hand, outbound traffic, originating from the internal network and heading toward the internet, is generally less restricted. Firewall rules for outbound traffic have a higher priority and are more permissive, as the traffic is considered trusted and necessary for normal business operations. To relate this architecture back to our housing society, think of the DMZ as a separate building within the complex that houses amenities to the public, such as a gym or community center. The firewall acts as a security guard, ensuring that visitors to these public areas do not gain unauthorized access to the residential buildings. Furthermore, just as the security guard applies stricter scrutiny to visitors entering the complex than the residents leaving, the firewall applies more restrictive rules to inbound traffic than outbound traffic. In essence, the firewall architecture is designed to create a secure barrier between the trusted internal network and the untrusted external network, with the DMZ acting as a buffer zone for externally accessible servers. By carefully crafting and ordering firewall rules, network administrators can control the flow of traffic and minimize the risk of unauthorized access and potential threats. As you can probably tell by now, firewalls play a critical role in protecting our networks from potential threats. But firewall types are as varied as they are useful. Each type of firewall approaches security in its own unique way, offering distinct advantages and disadvantages. Let's have a look at a few. First is the packet filtering firewall, the most basic and widely used type. These inspect traffic at a packet level, examining characteristics like source and destination IP addresses and port numbers. They compare this information against a set of predefined rules and either allow or block the packets accordingly. Packet firewalls are known for their simplicity and efficiency, making them relatively inexpensive to implement. However, this simplicity also means they are less secure than other types of firewalls, as they do not consider the context of the packets they are inspecting. This leaves them vulnerable to techniques like IP spoofing, where an attacker disguises their true identity by forging packet information. Up next is the Stateful Inspection Firewall, a more advanced and intelligent cousin of the packet firewall. These firewalls go beyond simply examining individual packets, and instead keep track of the state of network communications over time. By maintaining a state table, stateful inspection firewalls can understand the context of traffic and make more informed decisions about what to allow or block. For instance, they can distinguish between legitimate incoming traffic that is a response to a request initiated by an internal device and unsolicited incoming traffic that may be a sign of an attack. While stateful inspection firewalls offer a higher level of security than packet filtering firewalls, they come at a cost. The added complexity of maintaining a state table means these firewalls are more resource-intensive and may slow down network performance. Moving up the sophistication ladder, we have the circuit-level gateway firewall. These firewalls focus on establishing a secure connection, or circuit, between trusted internal networks and the untrusted external network. Once the circuit is established, the firewall gets out of the way, allowing traffic to flow freely between the two endpoints. This approach is particularly useful for applications that require long-lived connections, such as VPN tunnels. But this more hands-off approach of circuit-level gateways also means they have limited visibility into the traffic passing through the established circuits. If a malicious actor manages to establish a seemingly legitimate circuit, they may be able to pass harmful traffic undetected. And at the very top of the firewall hierarchy, we have the application-level gateway, also known as proxy firewalls. These operate at the highest level of the OSI model, the application layer, and have a deep understanding of the specific protocols and applications they are designed to protect. Application-level gateways act as intermediaries between the internal and external networks, thoroughly inspecting and potentially modifying traffic as it passes through. They can perform deep packet inspection, looking for signs of malicious activity or policy violations, and can even cache frequently requested content to improve network performance. All these extra bells and whistles does come at a price, however. As you might imagine, these firewalls are the most resource-intensive and complex to manage, requiring significant expertise to properly configure and maintain. Finally, we have an emerging concept of Firewall as a Service, or FaaS. With the rise of cloud computing, many organizations are turning to cloud-based firewall solutions that offer the same level of protection as traditional hardware or software firewalls without the need for on-premises infrastructure. FaaS providers allow customers to easily configure and manage their firewall settings through intuitive web-based interfaces, offloading the responsibility of maintaining the underlying infrastructure. This approach offers scalability, flexibility, and cost-effectiveness, making it an attractive option for organizations of all sizes, and further solidifying that in the future everything will be a paid-for service. Yep, own nothing, be happy. In summary, each type of firewall brings its own strengths and weaknesses to the table. From the simplicity of packet filtering to the advanced capabilities of application-level gateways and the convenience of FaaS, organizations must carefully consider their security needs and resources when selecting the right firewall solution. So the next time you're browsing the internet, and maybe looking at some site that you wouldn't want us to know about, and don't run into any suspicious activities or pop-ups, give your firewall a pat on the back. Or would it be the bite? I don't know what I'm talking about. Regardless, it may not have the most glamorous job, but it's always there, working tirelessly behind the scenes to keep your digital world safe and secure. But if you enjoyed and learned something from this deep dive into the world of firewalls, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends and colleagues. And if you want to learn more about cybersecurity and all things tech, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. As always, we love hearing from you guys, so if you have any questions, comments, or personal experiences with firewalls, be sure to drop them in the comments section below. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to stay safe when browsing, and we'll see you in the next video.